Hi, Paul Thacker. Good News Broadcast. I'm speaking to Brent Phillips. Hi, Brent. How are you?
I am great. I'm excited to be here.
Okay. The Formula for Miracles, where science reveals the secrets of the spirit. Former skeptic engineer, turning healer, offers a faster path to healing and higher consciousness using Theta, Theta, T-H-E-T-A, brain waves. Well, welcome to our show. I want to ask you a question because you were with MIT, PhD, built some new technologies, games, and other good kinds of things, very successful, well-known, and then you met somebody, and it says here, and they sort of like in 2003, whoever that might have been and however that might have hit you at that time, changed your life. How come?
Well, you know, it's kind of funny that I never thought I'd be doing anything like this. I never expected I'd be a professional healer or a spiritual teacher, because I was a technology geek. But what happened to me was I left MIT in the 90s when the Internet boom hit, because I had become one of the Internet's leading researchers. So, you know, me as well as a lot of other people literally create the foundations of what is the modern Internet. And so I moved to California, recruited my best friend. We started Internet companies, and at first we had a lot of success. I did the first website for Disneyland, Nissan Motors, the Sony PlayStation, lots of great stuff. We started an online game company, but I was so driven to succeed, I was working around the clock. And long story short, after a couple years of 100-hour work weeks, I started to have real major problems with my health. And so it got so bad I had to move in with my parents, because I was in so much pain some days I needed help just cutting and eating my meals. So this wasn't just a little tingle in my wrist. This was like, you know, really serious pain that made it very difficult even to do basic life functions. You know, again, long story short, I spent 3 years in treatment with the doctors. They gave up on me. When I was 27 years old, they put me on permanent disability and sent me home to die. They told me there was no chance I could ever recover. And I was devastated. Right about that same time, my best friend sold this company I had founded for millions of dollars behind my back, and also started dating the woman I was crazy in love with. So it was, you know, it was a total wipeout. Again, to make a long story short, I spent about 5 years doing different kinds of positive thinking and alternative medicine, trying to turn it around. You know, acupuncture, herbs, osteopathy, craniosacral. I mean, I could go on for hours talking about all the stuff I did, cleanses and diets and programs and this and that. But, you know, I didn't get better. I got worse. It all bottomed out in 2003 when I had an experimental surgery, and I woke up from the surgery to find my right arm paralyzed. And so that was really rock bottom. And it was a few months after that I got introduced to Terry through my Aunt Lauren. And Terry had done some kind of crazy New Age healing, and I really didn't take it too seriously, because I had done like Reiki and pranic and stuff like that and yoga, but it never really helped me. But I went to see Terry, and she explained to me the power of the subconscious mind and showed me how to communicate with the subconscious, and spent about an hour doing this block clearing process with me. And then at the end of our session, she just said, "Okay, dear, we'll take care of your arm now." And she kind of closed her eyes and went into a trance, because this is all done with the mind. There's no hands-on. There's no machines. There's nothing you take, nothing like that. And I'm just sitting on the couch, and I felt this pop inside my elbow. And I was like, oh, my God, I could move my arm again. And so, that was my first miracle. And, understandably, I was it totally changed the direction of my life. And that was the moment when the skeptical MIT software engineer decided to become a professional healer. And, again, long story short, I spent about 10 years doing research because, I really had experienced a miracle, and I wanted to figure this stuff out. I knew there was a code to it. I knew there was some sequence, some logic to it. And what I found was this. I went to all these incredible master healers and gurus and spiritual teachers and intuitives, and I tried to reverse engineer their processes. I tried to figure out what they were doing. And here's what I found. There's a lot of people out there who could do some pretty amazing things. But for almost all of them, it's just some gift or talent, often something they were born with. And so most of them don't really understand exactly what it is they're doing or how it works. I wanted to change that. I wanted to understand the technology, because it is technology. And it took me a long time, but after years and years of research and experimentation, I finally started to figure it out. And that led me to create, what we now call the Formula for Miracles, which is really just, energy healing, law of attraction, mind power, stripped down to the essentials of what really works, what's powerful, what really creates change. Because, honestly, I'm not a big fan of the fluff and the woo-woo. That's just not the kind of person I am. So I just wanted what was pure, what was real, what was powerful. And, I want everyone listening to know that I had almost no talent for this. Everything I know was learned. And it is true that anybody can do this. Once you have the right technology, once you've cracked the code, anybody can do it. Anybody can develop the power of master healer. You just need the right technology. If we take cell phones as an example, if you took your cell phone back in time 100 years, it would be considered a miracle, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can
sure.
Open up your phone and have a real-time video conference with people on the other side of the globe. And, I actually did that yesterday. It's pretty amazing, huh? And so that's because we figured out the technology. Anybody can do it. It doesn't take any special talent to make a phone call, does it? It's just technology. So healing and mind power, law of attraction, spirituality, intuition is the same. It's just technology. When you understand the technology, anybody can learn and master these things. It can become very easy.
So what's the miracle of getting up in the morning? Literally.
Well, the miracle of getting up in the morning is actually this amazing process that happens biologically to adjust the hormone levels in the body, to take us out of the sleep state and create enough stress to wake us up and get us going. And I know that stress is often considered a bad thing, but the truth is that everything in health is a matter of balance, what's called homeostasis. And so some amount of stress is actually healthy. Most of us just have too much, right? Just like your diet. Some amount of protein and fat and carbs and all that is healthy for the body. But if you have too much, it can make you sick. And so, I truly see that our whole world is filled with miracles. The existence of life on Earth is a miracle. What they call the tuning of the cosmic forces is a miracle. And I mention this because I want everyone to start looking around and realizing that one of my biggest blocks was I thought that miracles only happened to really special people and usually thousands of years in the past. That's not true. Miracles happen every single day to everybody, to normal people. And once we start to see that and understand this incredible majesty of this world we live in, then it actually makes it much easier for us to achieve our own success, whether it be making money, advancing your career, healing your body, healing the mind, finding love, finding purpose. Once we understand that we literally live in a universe full of miracles, that this is our birthright and there is a technology to it, then things get a little bit easier.
Brent, I like your thinking. When I was in seminary, and it was for interfaith and spiritual ministry, or become ordained, every once in a while, one of the guys in class would all of a sudden, "It's a miracle! It's a miracle!" So, I'm on the same page with you. I'm very impressed. In fact, I'm very impressed with your answer on why we woke up. How about that alarm clock? Does that put stress on you too?
Absolutely, it does. It is. All mammals are hardwired with two fears. One is the fear of falling. The other is the fear of noises. So alarm clocks work because they tap into that primitive biology that when we're asleep and there's a loud noise, the body immediately wakes us up because it thinks we're under threat. It thinks we might be in danger. And so we have simply leveraged that biology with our technology into what we call an alarm clock or the alarm on your phone. And that's why it works. Pretty amazing, huh?
Well, my dad, he grew up in the shoe business, and he used to say, Man wasn't created to be walking on twos. He was created to be walking on fours. And your comment about fear of falling, I'm wondering if my dad was into something.
Well, certainly anybody that's had trouble with their hips or knees or ankles would see that there's a lot of advantages to walking on fours. And evolutionarily, that is correct. But in order to create technology and use tools, it was necessary. One of the amazing things about nature is there's no waste in nature. That everything has a purpose. And this is, again, part of the miracle of life. And I want to encourage everyone to know that in our lives, it's the same way. There's no waste in your life. It just looks that way. And if we can see things from a higher perspective, we'll understand that everything has a purpose and a time and a place, and that all of our suffering and pain is actually there for a reason. And once we understand that and connect to it, then it's easy to move past it.
Brent, I'm sure glad that that doctor was wrong about you. You're a smart guy. You got some really powerful thinking. Your book, The Formula for Miracles, where science reveals the secrets of the spirit, Brent Michael Phillips. Let me ask you a couple other questions. I appreciate your thought process. Give me some good stuff to think on here with everything. I asked two last questions, and I appreciate it. I'd love to speak with you again at a later moment. And best of luck with the book. What would be good news for you? What's good news for you, Brent?
To me, I would define good news as any new input of information that aligns with the agenda of the ego.
Just the way I would have
said. Ultimately, there is no good and bad. Those are human judgments. They're natural. They're not wrong. It's just part of life. And so what we judge good simply means it lines up with the agenda of the ego, what we're desirous or wanting of. Bad news would be the opposite. But ultimately, there is no good news or bad news. There's just news.
I love it. Last question. We're involved with the International Day of Peace. It's September 21st. I've asked thousands of people, what does peace mean to them? So, Brent Michael Phillips, if you wouldn't mind, what does peace mean to you?
To me, peace means recognizing truth. That the truth is that the whole universe is one thing. And we've been so caught up in the lie of the ego that we've forgotten that. And even people that know it in their minds don't live it in their hearts, don't live from that place. And so when we realize that we're all the same creature, the universe, the whole earth, we're all one thing, it does not make any sense to be harming ourselves, does it? Very few people, except those with some kind of mental illness, will intentionally harm themselves. But that's exactly what we're doing when we hurt others. And so I think that when we can see past the lie of separation and start living and embody the truth that our spiritual teachers have been telling us for literally thousands and thousands and thousands of years, we will realize peace on earth. And the way we get there is simple. Gandhi told us this, many years ago. Be the change you wish to see. So peace starts one person at a time. And there will be no more wars when humans are no longer willing to harm others for the benefit of their separate group, whether it be the individual, the family, the nation state, whatever. And when the soldiers are unwilling to kill each other, the wars will end. And the politicians will be forced to find other means to resolve their problems. So, there's a long answer to a short question.
Important, every word, every single word. I feel like I'm talking to Stephen Hawking. Brent, good man. Thank you very much for sharing good news with us.
This has been great.
Take care.